Right now, it's not enough information for me to believe that Vladimir is going to come back. However, it's very, very possible. He'll be 43 in March, and if it's true that he'll be fighting Dillian Whyte in April in Wembley, he'll be 43. You know, it's possible. That's the rumor. So I'm trying to find where it came from. I still fancy facing Joshua, fights Miller, and blah, 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 blah. Here, let me zoom in a little bit. So we talked about it before, and it looks like, you know, Anthony Joshua may be coming to the States sooner than expected, likely in April or so, or around that time. Actually, if this was to take place in April, I don't know how they're going to do it, but Joshua could be fighting Big Baby Miller next in Madison Square Garden. And that April date it could be Vladimir Klitschko. They got to fill that date. Matchroom got to fill that date. It's got to be Joshua Whyte. You know, right now, Wilder, unless they pull some magic, Wilder is like out of it. He don't want nothing to do with him. So over there on the Matchroom side, things are a bit in disarray, but they got wild cards. They got Alexander Usyk, and now this Vladimir Klitschko rumor. Now, Klitschko versus Whyte in Wembley would appease Whyte and make him a bigger name if he were to win. But however, people will say, well, you know, Klitschko was on that layoff and he's 43 years old. Now, in this day and age of boxing, 43 is not old. You're at that very end where it's like you got to do something now. I think, put it this way, I think right now 45. 42, 43, 44. I think 44 should be the cutoff right there. We're seeing it in today's modern medicine and technology. Fighters can compete longer. But for a guy like Klitschko, who throughout his career has not been known to take damage, he took the most damage in years when he took from over a decade. Most damage of his career, in fact, wasn't it? Against Joshua almost took his head off with the uppercut. I think that was the big defining factor of if he wanted to come back or not. But now, people were talking about it, joking about it months ago when him and that chick from Heroes that he was with, his baby mom split. People were like, oh, yeah, he don't got that chick in his life no more. Just joking around. I'm not joking, but I'm saying what the people were joking around about. They're like, that chick out of his life, watch. Klitschko going to come back. Because, you know, it was some shit with her in the news and having breakdowns and all that. Then they got a baby, and people are wondering how did that affect Klitschko's career. But he can come back. He can come back and he can compete. And in my personal opinion, with his style, you know, with his conditioning and the way, you know, he works, he can come back and outbox Dillian Whyte. So it's a very legitimate fight. The test would be for Dillian Whyte if he can beat a 43-year-old Klitschko that's been off for a while and maybe, you know, damage from being hit by Joshua. We don't know. We don't know what damage Joshua did to him or if he's going to be timid in there. But with this heavyweight landscape on fire right now, Klitschko can come in and come back and jump the line. Or what if Vitaly? I think Vitaly has too many responsibilities to come back, even though he's the WBC Emeritus champion. Now to talk about Usyk. Usyk is very heavily rumored to be fighting Alexander Povetkin. I think Vladimir can do it. You know, and I think Dillian Whyte would be the perfect fight for him to, because Dillian, like, if he was to take Dillian Whyte into deep waters, Dillian Whyte going to sleep. Probably earlier than that. You know, if Vladimir was to go out there and box, because remember, Dillian Whyte doesn't have as high of a boxing IQ as a Vladimir Klitschko or Anthony Joshua. He's more of a brawler slugger, but he's gotten a whole lot better. I have a lot of respect for Dillian Whyte. A lot of respect for him. His resume, he should be #1 contender across all the boards. Off of that alone, since what he's done against losing to Anthony Joshua. However, Vladimir Klitschko with the high boxing IQ, especially if he decides to make it a boring, nasty fight, and not to remember, he didn't try to tie up Joshua. He was testing himself. That was some high class chess match shit we was watching. They was getting that shit down. And then a rematch, we don't know what would have happened. It could have went the same way, but we know one thing for sure is, and they talk about it openly, Joshua and Eddie Hearn. Klitschko let him off the hook. He could have ended all this shit. He could have still been around probably. It would have been a rematch likely, but. So in the back of his mind, you know, he has to been thinking, it has to been eating him up as he's watching these fights, and he's thinking, seeing what Povetkin was, you know, able to accomplish, you know, seeing what Fury, you know, and Wilder did. He's got to be thinking like, shit, if I come back, I got to motherfucking come back now. You know, like, I don't want to be like 46 and people like, nah, I don't come back. He's got to come back. He's going to be what? 43 in March. He don't have no vices that we know of. He's always in tip-top shape. It would be a 2-year layoff by the time he steps back into the ring. Not even 2 years. And then remember, he had that other damn near 2-year layoff after dealing with the Fury shit. So that'll be one fight in 3.5 years after Fury. You got a chance. But it's got to be now, right? It's got to be now. I'm TstreeT Controversy. This is TstreeT Controversy Live. Please subscribe.